project. The AIDS thing didn't work. See, you like the super rat. You ate so much poison, you're immune from prosecution. And now, as a result, they had to drop the AIDS thing and move to the Ebola because the AIDS wasn't working. You have just ate it up. And so now they had to move on to something else. So the methodology is changing. This book, you might want to peep if you get a chance. How many of you all got this book? This book is, Zygmunt Brzezinski was the National Security Advisor under Jimmy Carter. Who's the National Security Advisor right now?
Tony Blair.
Very good. Appreciate that, Baba. Because anybody that loves Africa needs to know the man who is the #1 policeman for the United States of America, which is the National Security Advisor. And when a leader dies or an airplane falls, remember the whole Rwandan genocidal activity was based on a plane crash. After the brothers decided to work out the kinks in their brotherhood and leave the area in unity, the plane goes down. Now, if the meeting had broke up in disruption, they would have all made it safely. The Michelle in Mozambique, another one of them beam technology plane crashes that South Africa did. Now, of course, when Mandela won, they took all that shit away. You know, them nuclear bombs, all of that shit ain't there now. I got friends over there that tell me the shit that the whites had in the white military are not there when Brother Man took over. Check? Yeah. They made it so tough for Brother Man he had to cut his wife to keep the leadership. It's tough. Tough to be with the hunkies these days. The price for being with the hunky has risen. And he could still be respected, disrespecting the woman who helped get him out of jail.
That's right.
Oh, man, that's cold. Now, when we look at the Boule and we look at this Grecian Sphinx, you know, Aswa Kwesi, he transcribed what was under it as Lord of the Landlords. And that's kind of what the whites own 97% of the wealth in South Africa. And blacks run the government now, of course, to protect the 97% wealth holders. And that's what a lord of a landlord is. And someone will swear to me, isn't that great what happened in South Africa? Say, boy, we'll be another 50 years trying to get the hunky now that he got a front man. And as soon as they get everything in place, they're going to kill Mandela's ass, sure as I'm standing here. And we're all going to say, we knew that. But probably at that age, you don't even need it. But what we're going to really recognize is that we have failed to develop the fortitude to stop what we know is not so. See, there's not, I know that ain't right. Well, then go stop it then. Don't allow, for example, the children to eat it up. And that's where the children, as I say, why should you not be a black Greek? Why should we not be for Thanksgiving and the blonde hair, blue-eyed Christmas and so forth? It's because it sows the seeds of inferiority in our children. The crime is our children. If the adults want to rationalize it, fine, but the children deserve better. This book suggests that the only thing that's stopping the worldwide revolution from completion is the young black male. Says the young, now here's a guy, he's looking all over the world, seeing what's going on. He says, you know, we beat the Russian, we don't even think national disaster can hurt us anymore. He said, but that young black male could put this thing out of control. And when I work with them young black Africans, I let them know that they may catch pressure from their elders, but in the real world, they're on the front line of the black revolution, even if they don't know it. They know us old geezers can rationalize going to the concentration camp. Now, if you saw the thing that they repeated over and over again about Waco the other day, you saw the white man at work. Here come the tank through the door. This is not an attack. Do not fight back. Check? That's the way they do that shit. Now, the day they come for us, Oprah Winfrey gonna be on the TV with Jesse Jackson. Do not be alarmed. This is just a test. They only want to see if the camps are large enough. Please, you will be brought back to your home at a later date. So I'm warning you, African, that it could get confusing in those final moments because they will swear to you that it's okay. And that'll be the key. They'll say, everything is okay. And you say, oh no, Brother Coakley warned me when they said the code word, everything is okay. I know that means trouble. And you have to function. You have to have an operational plan to deal with even having to run out of your home. Now, maybe you ain't gonna never need the plan. Maybe this is a good white man and we can count on him for support. There was a brother Oduno, we did this program at Howard University before they banned us all from there. And the brother Oduno is a brother who gave a wise word. He said, there is no culture without agriculture. So however black we think we are, we need food to maintain our blackness. The ability to talk back, hold out, and revolt is based on independent food delivery system. Now we do have processes in the revolution for reclamation of food. Yeah, they got the big warehouse. We fortify 3 blocks away. We move in 2 blocks away. We close off the block and we move in and gather food. Check. Yeah. All right. It was a softer check. Kroger's and other Giant Eagles, whatever they are, won't be available in the last days. So we need some underground food services. We need some greenhouses. How many people drove here in a car? Every car is a greenhouse. A car costs the same as a greenhouse. Well, how many greenhouses we got? None. How many cars we got? Whole bunch. Because getting where we're going, we can count on good white man food. So we ain't got no food delivery system because we trust the hunky. Because you can't tell me you don't trust them and you still on the food move. Again, and then I got to square away what you tell me you are and what you do. So brother man got to leave here and not get confused. Because our behavior ain't going to match our values. But then the rich guy, Zygmunt Brzezinski, he was also the first executive director of the Trilateral Commission. Yeah. And their first strike, their 8th and most famous and deadly position paper was called The Crisis of Democracy. And when that Crisis of Democracy came out, the hunky said, you know, well, here's the cover of The Crisis of Democracy. Everybody should have one of those in their house. The report on the governability of democracies. Crisis of Democracy. Demonocracy. Said that the crisis of democracy is that in the 60s, the people expected the system to deliver. Said that all this damn education and this college training have inflated the people's minds as to what they expect the system to deliver. Therefore, we're going to cut this shit down. Education is blamed for increasing the aspirations of the people. Therefore, the access to education must become restricted. And starting in New York in 1975, the financial crisis unfolded where the bankers threw the political system into debt, and to resolve it, they had to get a Big Mac. Municipal Assistance Corporation, and investment banker, Austrian Jew, Trilateral Commissioner Felix Rohatyn emerges as its overseer. Okay? Sure. And since y'all aren't far from there, you kind of know what that means. I think y'all got a financial crisis here in Connecticut. Connecticut. The Crisis of Democracy said that the only thing we're afraid of are people with a value system. Now, when I read that, I was tripped because it didn't say the ones with the most money. It didn't say the ones with the most guns. It didn't say the ones who knew the most. It didn't say the best dressers. It said those with values threaten our demonocracy. Because if they insist upon righteousness, they will hold back the rise of evil. It's a real stupid, simple thing. So simple that when I went to the leadership, they told me, man, don't no trilateral shit mean shit in the black community. Fuck that international shit you talking about. Boy, you need to get up here in your neighborhood and do something and leave all this international mumbo-jumbo shit alone. That's what they told me. And the one black radio station we had in Chicago was headed by Vernon Jarrett, a columnist. Now I've come to find out he's head of the Boule in Chicago. But he always cut me off the radio. Every time I mention this, he'd cut me off. Every time I mention this, he'd cut me off. Would not give me a minute to tell our people about the three cluster theory of world power. If you're in the revolution with Brother Coakley, you must understand the three cluster theory of world power. And it's a simple thing. In the younger days, it was the U.S. versus the USSR. It was the bipolar or two-sided world. Things were kind of simple. You was a communist or you was a capitalist. And every country, they fought each other. Vietnam, Korea, Africa, the North versus the South, the communists versus the capitalists. But when the Trilateral got together in '72, Rockefeller coming forth with the next phase of the white program for world control suggested that soon the white Russian will be with his brother, the white American.
Check.
So we have used ideology to confuse the world, but we are brothers from the same cave. So he comes up with three arrows to represent the three cluster theory. United States, Western Europe, and Japan would be the core of the New World. It was an economic, social, and political alliance. Now they bombed the Japanese. Where did they make the bomb at that they used in Hiroshima?
In New Mexico.
Part of it.
In Pennsylvania.
Part of it.
In California.
Part of it.
Manhattan.
Part of it. It's called the Manhattan Project.
Chicago.
Chicago. At the University of Chicago, right up under the football stadium, Stagg Field, was the laboratory that moved the bomb on out. Oppenheimer and all them guys. Rockefeller runs University of Chicago. He's the chairman of the board. He endowed the University of Chicago. That was his bomb, and it's his organization.
Check.
So when they bombed Japan, they didn't kill them off. They made them technological subordinates to America. Here, you rise up and technologically back us up. You won't need no military. We'll protect you. They have no military, so they didn't have to spend all them billions they take away from your education. The billions they take away from cleaning your streets. The billions they take away from your health care, building things you never even saw before. You do not even know if they built the bombs they told you they did, and you have nor have developed any strategy for knowing for sure. Just ain't never come out of the black community. The guns for butter strike, niggas out here now trying to save affirmative action, when this was not the time to have done it. Anyway, Rockefeller put the three arrows together. Now if you push those three arrows together, you know what they make?
Circle.
No. Push those three arrows together and it makes a damn triangle, Africans. Now why would Rockefeller, sitting up running the world, come to some shit with some triangles on it? Yeah, and the thing, the magazine is called the Trilogue, three-sided thing. When they meet, they call it, they meet in 3-year periods called trilliums. Now, is this he just up fucking with some shit, some triangles? Is this just that he just decides to run the world and comes up with a pyramid-looking thing? No. When he decides that every year there ought to be annual economic summits, and they start having in France in '76 and around these annual economic summits of the Japan and British man, and you see them stand and take pictures together, they developed a financial arm to that, and it ended up being called the G7. Now, fuck, G is the 7th letter of the alphabet, and the Masons use the G. 7 is the magical Masonic number. Is Rockefeller just up fucking around with some G7? No. Because he's uniting the below and the above. It's the overlord and the underlord coming together. So his symbolism is in tight with the secret societies. Again, if we're at Yankee Stadium and Bobby, I don't know who playing up there, Bobby Bonilla looking at the third base coach. Third base coach is looking at the batter, and he's doing this shit. Right. What's he doing? He's telling the batter what to do. He got the signal from the coach sitting over in the dugout telling the third base coach what to do. The pitcher's looking at the catcher. He got his fingers between his legs. He's trying to drop some fingers to the pitcher, telling him what? What to do. 50,000 people looking at all of them. Don't know what the fuck they talking about. So remember, when you're decodifying a secret society, it is not that you're going to find it in secret. It's going to be right in front of you. You need to decode it. It's been codified. Secret societies don't have to hide. They just have to encode themselves. Check? Check. Now, we got our own code. See, let me see it here. Let me see your elbow. Let me see your elbow. It's the Bogart. It's our code. You say, I see you in another city, you might be in the Million Man March. Say, about Coakley. Okay, tell me right. So we need our own code. Bogart is how we gonna get it back. We're gonna be smart, we're gonna be strategic, we're gonna be powerful, and we're gonna then go take it. Taking it is the strategy. That's how they got it. They took it. And then didn't vote the white man in the office. He took him. And the one who takes gets taken. It's an inevitable consequence of behavior. You do understand how reality really works. You will reap what you sow. Now, who's going to be a part of the manifestation of retribution? But you might even love the white man and you hope it don't come, but it is inevitable that it comes. Everybody that ruled and rose wrong fell, including Africa. We have to account for our own fall from grace. Maybe we was edifying the goal and the thing too deep, and we lost track of the hunky who come to our feet. Anyway, Trilateral Commission come, they go to three-sided thing, North America, Europe, Japan. So I'm telling them in Chicago, man, this thing is coming, but the key thing to the crisis of democracy was we're going to take over the American cities. As we go to take the world, we need the cities. So it was New York in 75, Cleveland in 77. The economic takeover from the politicians by the businessmen got to Chicago in 79. Finally, people started to listen to Brother Steve. I said, you know, the First National Bank of Chicago, the Rockefeller Bank, the #1 bank in Chicago, then threw the school board into financial crisis. The financial crisis got so big we had to have a school finance authority where the businessmen had to take control from the frivolous politicians who were vulnerable to the will of the people. Now, if you think about it, that's the way the damn thing was supposed to work. You pick the people you like, and they do for you what you want, because that's how you win. But not when it came to us. In fact, black politicians have to prove they will protect white interests first. Anyway, so I was trying to tell everybody in Chicago this was coming and so forth and so on, so it was a little rigid for a while. Then that school finance authority came and they started paying closer attention, and all of a sudden I started getting a minute or two on the radio, and then a couple of more minutes. Then somebody called me and said, I'll pay you $50 to tell the people this stuff. Yeah, $50? You will pay me to tell the people about? Yes. And I began to find out, the more I began to tell, that the people I thought knew didn't know at all. And never wanted to tell the people they didn't know, because you was accepting the people's money, the trust, the support, and telling the people you were guaranteeing them victory and didn't know from who. You wouldn't even have known if you had won. So, what happened with the three-cluster theory? The United States says that the Northern Hemisphere will become all one legislative body. From the top of Canada to the bottom of South America will become one unit. The people said it would never happen. Now that we've already passed through NAFTA, where though some are Democrats and some are Republicans, they're still white. The white agenda is unity. So they stopped Democrats and Republicans for a couple of days, and NAFTA passed. You saw Perot out there, or P-Rock, for a minute or two, trying to be against it, but they wimped him up real good, set him down, just like they bugged him out of the presidential election when they told him they'd kill his daughter. You heard that, didn't you? Yeah. All right, some of you did. Now, so United States and Canada and Mexico have become one unit. Just a little while ago, they gave Mexico $25 billion. You know what they said when they gave $25 billion? Said them damn sucker Americans. They ain't caught on yet. That's what they said. The sucker Americans. We can tell Americans anything. They ain't got no and they know they don't believe us either. We got them so stuck in the chair, they know we lying and can't move on us. And that's a psychological thing. See, the shackle is here. Now I found the shackle, it's right here. Ain't enough of them out there to stop us on any day of the week. We stop us. You will tell me, no, don't do it. You will tell me that's too tough, that's all wild and woolly shit. You will suggest to me I need to look out for myself. Hunky ain't gonna say shit till the last days when he says, I'll work for you. Says, sorry. Because a hunky will switch sides in a minute. He has no side. Now, North and South then merged, Eastern Europe, then wall then come down right on clock time. 1991 the wall goes down, 92 the hunkies unify, Soviet Union falls down, falls in. It's all one continent from the tip over here at Spain all the way across, all one continent. They played it like it was two in the old days. It was all one big cave. And here come the white side, the USSR, the Russia, Georgia, the white side of the Soviet Union. Now over here you got the Asian side, Azerbaijan, Mongolia and all. They got to go into the Asian cluster. In the Asian cluster, Japan is the core with China, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Singapore, Taiwan, Vietnam, Indonesia, Korea, and all of those represent the Asian cluster. So the world is now working off of the three cluster theory of world power. And if you're an African and you want to free Africa, you have to understand the dynamic of the three cluster theory. Those are the way. So they asked the question, is interesting? Somebody asked that, well, where will Africa be? Where will the people of color countries be when the world goes three cluster? I said, well, says they'll be like specters at the feast. I don't know what that means, but it don't sound too good. They will be like specters at the feast. Here they are over here. Let's see here what they said. They asked, what? This is in this story in Foreign Policy magazine. You all familiar with Foreign Policy magazine?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
What's it look like?
Soft cover on it.
Soft covers, a good guess. Give me some more description. Watch this. It won't take long. What else? Tell me something else about it. What's it look like? What size is it? Huh?
Not very large size.
Another good guess. Plausibly closer, but still soft. Give it to me, Africans.
5 by 7 foot.
What's 5 by 7?
Inch. Oh,
Yeah, what's 5 by 7? Is that like this?
it's about 8 by 8.
It's about like that, and what? Like about that, like that?
By 10 by
What,
8.
thick like that?
Yeah.
Or how big is the front of it? Is it like this, or is it like that?
Like that.
It's like this?
Yeah, a little smaller.
It ain't like this. It ain't like that? It is like that. It's a long, thin book. It sits just like it fit right in the palm of your hands. Long, thin. It's called Foreign Policy. And you know who puts it out? The Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. There's 2 monthly magazines that come out quarterly, strike. 2 quarterly magazines that the whites think in. They think in the public. This one you may have been talking about is Foreign Affairs.
Right, that's what.
That's the one you meant. Sure, I know that's what you meant. That's why I made sure you didn't know what I meant. I said foreign policy. You said you were meaning foreign affairs. No problem, I got them both. But the point of it is you should have these because these are where the whites draw consensuses about what they will do with people who are non-white. These things sit right on the shelves of the airports, the major bookstores. They stand unmolested. Because the Africans who swear they want to save Africa have not associated it with the anti-Africa activity. Now, if y'all had told me up front real quick you didn't know, 5 minutes ago, I'd have told you all of this. See, I told you, if you just say you don't know, we can compensate for that. Don't be playing with Brother Coakley when he know you don't. All right? See, if we be honest with each other, we can resolve this. A dishonest analysis will come out with a faulty solution. No, I mean really. We do not have food. How long can we live without the grocery stores? 4 days. We need 90 days of capability. Okay, we must store or save. How many of y'all still can? When grandma used to can and put it in the basement, that was because they didn't trust the hunky. And they knew they needed to save some food for different periods. Anyway, informed policy. I just left Pittsburgh, and again, it's the Carnegie thing. It's heavy there. So I had to talk to them this way. If the present trend continues, it will be one of 3 great poles of attraction. Talking about the 3 cluster theory. The others liking to be North America cluster, largely integrated economically but not politically, whose center is the United States, with a similar grouping around Japan and Asia. China may loosely be attached to this Japan-centered cluster, while the Soviet Union may find itself along geographical lines between Europe and Asia. The Asians go to Asia, the whites go to Europe. And that's the 3 great poles of attraction, or the 3 cluster theory. So they asked them down here, said, well, what happened? Now, you know whites, they're all backwards. They call you to what world? Third. And don't you repeat that, because you're not third in nothing. You were the first. Why do the people who came third call you third? Because they need the psychological advantage of being first, and you give it to them. I don't mean you. I know you don't give it to them. And please understand, I'm not beating on you personally. Thank you. Check on that. So it said, well, where will them damn black people be at? Says the remainder, many states in Africa, some in Asia and Latin America, will continue to be specters at the feast. They will be neither unseen nor unheard, however. Constant attempts by their growing populations to penetrate the immigration barriers of the developed world will assure that. They will also contribute to the list of social harms, most notably drugs, but also terrorism and such phenomena as environmental degradation that also erode the security of the rich. They will thus have nuisance value. Don't you feel like that here in New Haven? The probability is that at least for a while, the Western societies and the reforming societies of the East too will treat them only as nuisances. Economic assistance to poor countries will be palliative, not curative. Palliative, and when you think about it, every time they show up to resolve a problem, seems as though it's just enough to keep the shit from social disruption. When they said we're going to take over the American cities, the word was, if we could get New York to operate with reduced social services without civil disorder, it will prove it can be done in the most difficult environments in the nation. Which meant that if we can pull this off without them going off, then we got them. So what is the only thing they fear? The going off of people with value system. The going off is the other component to the values. It's just not values and you walk around. But the spirit is values imposing your spirit upon weaker, more violent types. You have power over them if you exercise it. Anyway. Let's see here. Okay. Now, just to give you an idea of where we are at this moment in time, I want to go to a couple of things I'll show you. Rockefeller, let me just say fuck Rockefeller. He would not feel too afraid of that level because that does not sound vicious enough to scare him. So those who are here tonight will say, every time Brother Coakley asks them to fuck Rockefeller, they cringed at this saying, oh, fucking Rockefeller. And it sounds as if we still have supporters in the audience. Those who've not yet made up their mind. In fact, this might be, is this in some of y'all way? Yeah. We'll just take it down for a minute because we're in control of it. All right. Rockefeller says for half a century, Rockefeller's traveled the Western Hemisphere. This is in we'll get today, I'll show you, it's Forbes magazine. The philanthropist, private investor, and banker now wants to bring North and South America closer together. You don't want to help niggas in New York, no. You want to go to Bolivia, Argentina. The Caribbean Basin Project was Rockefeller's thing. He sent Kissinger down there to set it up. The whole, what they call it, the Organization of American States. You ever heard of that? When Aristide lost his country, that's where he first went, was the Organization of American States, and filed a claim to be put back in as the democratically elected leader. Only problem is Rockefeller created it in 1951 and stands as its chairman emeritus. Rockefeller bought the land, built the building, got the people, made the United Nations. United Nations went out and formed something called the State of Israel. The financial arm of the United Nations is called what? What are the two financial arms of the United Nations? Thank you, Bob. I appreciate you, brother. I'm gonna have to give you something free, because you stand to receive, to advance information on your path. Unless you tell me you work there. This story is from Forbes magazine, October 30th, 1989. The reason I show the story is that in that story, Rockefeller says he's going to make something called a NAFTA. But NAFTA didn't pass till '93. In fact, the story is not called the U.S. Congress. Let me say fuck Rockefeller. And that's the Congress. Now, part of the process, the boning up to kill something, is first to dehumanize it. So as you see me stand up here and lead the process of dehumanization, understand it is a phase towards elimination. You know they dehumanize you every day. Can't you smell your own destruction? Right. Can't you smell them dehumanizing the young black male like an animal? Yeah. The attack on rap and other black youth? Yeah. You can smell the dehumanization, and that's them preparing to kill you. You are counter dehumanizing. Check? Sure. Sure. Rockefeller said, the key to developing closer North-South ties, Rockefeller says, is to build personal relationships among the leaders. Towards that end, Rockefeller would like to establish a new organization that would include top leaders from U.S., Canada, and all the countries of Latin America. Meetings could be held twice a year, using the term for North and South America that was coined over 400 years ago. Rockefeller would call it the Congress of the New World. So he alludes to that. He got something cooking that been 400 years in the oven. And though he wasn't around that 100th year past Columbus, the strategy was, if you see a nigger, take his land. So he didn't even have to land in the right spot. He just had to tell what he saw and rip, rob, steal, rape, and colonize. Check? Check. Now, the question is this. The intelligence community works off of this model. Intention plus capability equals threat. Let me hear you say that. Intention plus capability equals threat. Now, everything that the CIA, Department of Defense, local intelligence, Army intelligence, whatever they do, the model is uniform. Why? Because what they need to get from the intelligence collection is a probability scale. Coakley calls for the Black Revolution. What are the probabilities of that? Coakley says free Africa. Intention. Capability. Can't afford a plane ticket. Threat, zero. Check? So, you know the intelligence community has a process for sorting through bullshit. They know when you're saying something, and they know when you mean what you say. Like I'm working with you now. I know what you mean to do, and I know what you do. Now, the revolutionary factor is time in equal time out. Time in is this. You wonder when we're going to whip the white man, this is when we're going to win. It's real simple. It ain't complicated. When 12 hours and 1 minute of your day is for your people, 12 hours and 1 minute every day, that leaves 11 hours and 59 minutes to other things. When you sit down and write down what you did, and 12 hours and 1 minute is for liberation, that's the factor. Time in equals time out. Now, you're thinking about this. You know you've got 8 hours you got to work, hour to get back and forth to work, time to cook and clean and wash and protect the children. Then there's late night. Then there's the weekend. If you did it all Friday night, all day Saturday, and all day Sunday, the time in is not going to equal time out. It's not going to match up. Now, how able are you to come forth in the revolutionary formula? Time in equal time out. Don't worry about what nobody else do. If you got your 12 hours and 1 minute over the line, just pray and hope that everybody else has fulfilled their own commitment to make the time in be greater than the time out. That's the factor. It won't be a day sooner than that. If you never break that chain, it will never come about. It's just that sense. It's a lock-in. It's a lock-in on you. Your physical time must equal time in. It's real simple. And it ain't complicated, and only you can do you. Then we can help and coagulate and join in with everybody else. Now, our goal is to get to the Wizard of Oz. I suggest Rockefeller sits somewhere around the center of this circle. The secret societies that run this world are a series of circles within circles. The person who best told us about that is a nice white professor named Carroll Quigley. He wrote this book called Tragedy and Hope. How many people got this book? Costs about $35, $40. The answer to how many people have this book is none, for the tape, for the record. And the point I say that is that in this book, this white professor who's a male, Carroll Quigley, stated that in the 60s he had a chance to read the secret papers of the people who run the world. And he's not against their plan to run the world. He just wished they would be more public about their goals and receive more reward for running the New World Order. Says it quite straight and frankly. Now, Carroll Quigley is a professor who can be substantiated in the public as having an impact on at least one individual I know of. I know one individual who was impacted by Carroll Quigley, and in the books, The Rockefeller File, None That Call It Conspiracy, his book is mentioned about the circle within, called this the Circle of Initiates, called this the Association of Helpers. And then, of course, around here would come the Boule of the blacks, who would protect the outer circle of whites, who protect the inner circle of whites, who protect the rise of evil. Whatever this is, you want to call it Antichrist, the chief devil, the last chapter of the Bible called Revolution talks about the coming of this. You get the tape, The Beast in the 666. I suggest from amongst who this evil thing will arise. And I suggest it will come from the Ashkenazis. Anyway, this is the Wizard of Oz. This is the OEO boys. This is the Wicked Witch of the West. All of these are layers around defending evil. And somewhere there, they're preparing for the rise of this evil. You feel it? No, you don't. Quigley taught at Georgetown. Quigley taught at Harvard. Quigley taught at Princeton. That's what makes Quigley so important, is that if you don't like what Quigley said, you can't like Harvard. You can't support education and bust down Harvard. You can't support education and bust down Princeton. You can't support education and bust down Georgetown. Because those, like Yale, are the cornerstone of education. Check?
Yeah.
Therefore, Quigley's work has to be dealt with in a way that nobody in New Haven would have it. But it would be the most critical book you could ever read in your life. It's 1,300 pages. You ain't gonna get through. Ain't no pictures in the book. But it would be good for the brother at the bookstore to get the book, and as you will see, as Brother Coakley deals with certain information, there will be many books you will need to build up the appropriate fuel to do what must be done. Now, Quigley says that there does exist and has existed for a generation an international Anglophile network which operates to some extent in the way the radical right believes the Communist Act. In fact, this network, which we may identify as the Round Table Group, let me say that.
Round Table Group. The Round Table Group.
Let me say fuck Rockefeller. Getting a little better. I heard something. Yeah, that's it. That's what it's going to take. All right. Oh, by the end, he's going to be in major jeopardy. Anyway, has no aversion to cooperating with communists. Of course, he wrote this long before they had merged, or any other group, and frequently does so. They work with blacks. They work with the Boule. They're not against the Boule because they're black. The Boule agree to serve them, they with them. Or is it the Boule with them? You know what I mean? All right. I know of the operations of this network because I've studied it for 20 years and was permitted for 2 years in the early 60s to examine its papers and secret records. One thing he mentioned in Tragedy and Hope was really deep. He says between the year 1962 and 1964, every leader in every country in the world except 3 changed. He said between 62 and 64, every leader of every country in the world changed except 2. Did the American leader change? What happened to him? Did he get voted out of office? No, not in America. They didn't shoot John Kennedy, did they? No, they didn't. Did they really? Oswald did it, didn't he?
All by himself.
All by itself, right. Check. And obviously that's not true either, is it, Africans? So when Quigley says he notices something funny about the world, the next point is, what did the secret society have to do with those, all the leaders in the world except 3 changing? I remember right before Kennedy was killed, the head of Vietnam changed. They killed the one boy to put the other boy in, Diem. And that helped bring forth the war, which they just admitted a couple of weeks ago was wrong. My brother got shot up in Vietnam. So I don't have no problem saying fuck Rockefeller. So you're right, because I understand that many black people, even in the Persian Gulf War, got shot by other white people on the same side.
Check.
And I know there wasn't even any reason for everybody to go run over there, but just to prove how stupid the people were, they did it. The American branch of this organization, sometimes called the Eastern Establishment, has played a very significant role in the history of the United States in the last generation. Now, Quigley said that, and I was impressed by the fact that he said it. And part of the impression and the power of him saying it is that Bill Clinton, y'all ever heard of Bill Clinton? He's being white-mailed at the present. Bubba's been asked to kill the black people. Bubba said they helped me get elected, but they told Bubba he will not get home safely. He or his wife, who they shut up very prominently when she started messing with the health industrial complex, which was coming up with the bio war. They set her ass down. Even Newt Gingrich mama called her a bitch. Did she or did she not? Check, right? Check. See, this thing is on the verge of something you ain't calculated. And where did all them people go was sitting in there? Is the roof leaking over there or something? That whole section went out. Get this story just for verification. The information I share with you is just used for affirmation. These facts you can establish on your own. Do not believe anything I tell you. Go check it for yourselves. If you do, I got you. Because if you go look, you'll be ashamed to wonder why you didn't catch on sooner. This whole thing is a big con job, and it's all held together by stupidity. Ignorance. That's really what keeps it together. Now, get this Washington Post, October 25th, 1992 tape. Now, you know, I know my stuff in my head. I don't need to bring this here to show it to you. The only reason I show it to you is so that you better believe me. You better believe me when I show you Washington Post talking about Carroll Quigley. Isn't that Quigley's name there? Yeah. Carroll, the same guy I showed you the book on. That him? This is the Washington Post, October 25th, 1992, the weekend before Clinton's election as president, which was November 2nd, that Tuesday. The last weekend story on how did Clinton get to be Clinton. And he's saying, at Georgetown, I was influenced by my professor, Carroll Quigley. So we know Quigley is a reputable, is a identifiable source to the point he was Clinton's teacher. Now, Tragedy and Hope, which you do not have, is required reading for Clinton and others in the world civilization class at Georgetown. You had to read Quigley. How would you know about the world and civilizations unless you knew who was running them? When I go to these colleges, Rutgers, Howard, Hampton, University of Minnesota, Howard Law School, UCLA, I've been to all of them. The students do not know one thing: who is in control. That's the one thing they don't know. They know every coping strategy in the book. Clinton says, now you don't want Quigley to be too powerful because Quigley then told the existence of a secret society. In fact, Quigley has another book you must get. Anybody got this book? Tell me if you got this book. And I want to show you the cover. This one right here. Tell me if you got this book. Anybody here got this book? Anybody got that book? Damn. See, the closer you get to the beast, then the less. In some cities, this book is everywhere. Usually Kansas City or St. Louis, somewhere not too close to the Eastern establishment. You hear what I'm saying? That something is set up in a way that the key books around the key families are usually found beyond one's financial capability. Close in where Rockefeller is little information about Rockefeller. A lot of information about Rockefeller in LA. You understand something here? Probably it was just accident. Because who would be so clever as to do something like that? Is there somebody out here that's smart? Could somebody be so smart as to keep books away from certain people in certain areas because if they had the information they would have done something with it? No, couldn't nothing be that sophisticated. Carroll Quigley, Angelo, he names the names of all those people in the circle within a circle. It's in the back of the book. 4 pages worth of names. One of the names on there is Lord Balfour. Anybody ever heard of him?
Yeah.
He wrote the Balfour Declaration, which declared in 1917 that the British would not look unfavorably upon a land then known as Palestine to be cut into half, and part of it called, Is It Real?
That's right.
Quigley, in the Anglo-American establishment, has this in the preface. We're going to stop for intermission in a few minutes, because I know you need some room to let this go down. The Rhodes Scholarship, since Clinton is a Rhodes Scholar, check.
Check.
You got Skull and Bones at Yale.
Check.
You got the Rhodes Scholar. Hey, how many of you here have the book America's Secret Establishment, an introduction into the Order of Skull and Bones at Yale? How many got that book? Oh, shit.
What's the name of it again?
Man, that's deep. The Anglo-American Strike. America's Secret Establishment. The Introduction into the Order of Skull and Bones. And it's written by a Stanford University professor named Anthony Sutton. And I'm stunned that so close to Yale, the book is not available. That's deep, y'all. I mean, see, I'm learning too. And my theory about closed information is far deeper than I ever imagined. And when those books started to flow, when we went to the clubhouse, brothers, I wonder what's inside. And I said, well, don't you have this book? Because inside the book are a detailed analysis of what's inside of the clubhouse there called the tomb, because some people jumped in the windows and found out what was on there. In fact, I showed them when we were there were bars and gates and spiked wedges in every spot a human could get in to keep from happening what had happened at one point years ago when some people snuck in there. So you wouldn't want to get that book. Where's the brother from that bookstore? Is he still around here?
Here you go.
Brother, you got a big job to do after. I will hook you up with a brother. I will hook you up with a brother that distributes those books. I have no financial gain whatsoever. Other than that, when you know, I'm safe. Check?
Check.
But I'm stunned. I mean, you all don't know deep inside of my heart how stunned I am that that book is not here. In all the cities, except for Ohio, you can't find that book nowhere in Ohio. And you know why? Because in Ohio, the Taft family was the co-founder of Skull and Bones, McKinley and Taft. Taft family, still today, the Secretary of State in Ohio is a Taft. The senators were Taft. The Taft family runs Ohio, but nowhere in Ohio can you find the book about the Taft family. Got bookstores all over Ohio. Stunned me. I just couldn't believe that that book wasn't there. Right next to the, what's the street right next to the Skull and Bones headquarters? What's right across from it? Taft Hall.
You got Taft Hotel?
Taft Hotel is what I meant, actually, Taft Hotel. And you would sit up and go, huh, I wonder. Nah, there ain't no connection. I just left Wednesday night. I was in Pittsburgh. I had them take me to the White Masonic Temple. It was on Tennyson Street. Tennyson is the one who spoke of King Arthur and the Round Table. He wrote the elaborate literature that glorified King Arthur and the fair order of the Table Round. The secret society that Quigley spoke of, that said was called the circle within a circle, is the Round Table group. So when I look up in Pittsburgh, and there's the Masonic Temple, and it's on Tennyson, they don't know why. Or why Taft is across from Skull and Bones headquarters. Nothing is done arbitrarily, only lack of knowledge makes it so. The numbers on the building are not arbitrary. The streets that they're on, what street connects with what street? What is the center street here? What's the street here that divides the town?
It's one chapel.
Chapel, church.
And Whitney. Chapel, church too. Church.
Now it's gotta be, now the numbers gotta go from 0 on out. Where is the street where the numbers are at 0?
That's the waterfront.
State.
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 No, it's the waterfront.
In Chicago, it's State Street. In Indianapolis, it's Meridian Street.
State Street here too.
Is State Street here?
Yeah, State is 0. It's not the 0 too.
Is the 0. See, in other words, you gotta check what streets divide the town. They weren't arbitrarily picked. I go to one street, the town is Washington and Pike. I mean, it's just, these are not arbitrary. Now, Quigley says this. Hey, what does KKK mean? What does KKK mean? What is KKK the symbol of? How many of y'all know that? How many of y'all know KKK means Ku Klux Klan? Everybody, right? But they ain't got no power, and that's why we know everything about that. They're powerless. Therefore, we've been taught everything about them. They're built up to be bigger than they ever are so that we don't find out who's at the bottom of their things. Just a front. They put them little right-wing white supremacists on Sally Raphael, put them on Geraldo, put them on Go Ricky. They put them on all the shows. They put the stupidest people on all the shows and make them out like they got a lot of power to keep you from knowing where the power is. That's the only thing you don't know. You know everybody's business, but you don't know who's in the power. Anyway, I'm going to stop signifying and get on with the work. Rhodes Scholarship. Look up Cecil Rhodes in Encyclopedia Britannica. When we're off to see the wizard, remember the street that would get you to the wizard? You would follow the yellow brick Cecil Rhodes. To get to the wizard, the one we're after, you follow the yellow brick Cecil Rhodes. Now, it says Rhodes in his 5 previous wills left his fortune to form a secret society, which was to devote itself to the preservation and expansion of the British Empire. See, somebody told me y'all were slow. Y'all not slow at all. You have never been given an opportunity to know. If those things aren't here, they're in absence. You are ignorant of the fact, not stupid. Don't let nobody put you down about what you don't know. You don't have access to what you need to know. Once you get the access, a certain level of enthusiasm will build up in the victims. You are the victims here. You have all the rights and privileges of retribution. And what does not seem to be known to anyone is that this secret society, created by Rhodes and his principal trustee, Lord Milner, continues to exist to this day. To be sure, this secret society is not a childish thing like the Ku Klux Klan. It does not have any secret robes, secret handclasps, or secret passwords. Now at Yale, they have that, at Skull and Bones. In the Masons, they have that. In the Boule, they have that. In the Kappas, the Alphas, the AKAs, they have that. That should tell you now the difference between the owner's secret societies and the operator's secret society. Clinton is an operator. Bush is an operator. Rockefeller is an owner. Let me hear you say, fuck Rockefeller. All right. So you know